what's up, everybody? I'm going to do a classic rock reaction, but it's also, I guess I can call it also a temporary music reaction. This is When the Levee Breaks, and of course we know When the Levee Breaks is a song by Led Zeppelin. Kansas Joe McCoy, Memphis Minnie originally made it in 1929. And so what I've been told is that this is kind of like, well, I'm looking at the link. It's called Playing for Change. And I guess it's a foundation that helps humanitarian causes around the world. Song Around the World featuring John Paul Jones, When the Levee Breaks. So, man, I tell you, I got to give a shout out pretty much to everybody, because in the last 4 weeks, I've been sent this link so many times. I think this link might probably have the record for how many times it's been sent to me. Yeah, and apologies, I just haven't had time to do much of anything. So this reaction is running a little bit late. February 18th. Yeah, since February 18th, man. So, featuring John Paul Jones. And some of you on the heels of John Paul Jones month, he still can't let go of the man. So it's quite fitting to do a follow-up where the Led Zeppelin factor is concerned. Speaking of the Led Zeppelin factor, I believe Evelyn sent me some stuff for Robert Plant in concert that I wanted to see. So I'm looking forward to that. But right now, it's about John Paul Jones and a whole slew of people, man, that are accompanying him all around the world. When the Levee Breaks. Let's get it. Playing for Change presents. Oh shit, look at that. Cheers, baby. This shit changes lives so dramatically. I like this shit already. There's the bundle. Right on.
If it keeps on raining, the levee's gonna break. It keeps on raining, the levee's gonna break. The levee breaks, had no place.
Guy doesn't age this, man.
An old levee taught me to weep and moan. And an old levee taught me to weep and moan. Got what it takes to make a mountain man leave his home.
Oh yeah, there are trucks. I got something coming up on the Beyond platform with him. Talking too loud, aren't I? nice amalgamation from all of that. Derek's wife.
When the levee breaks, mama, you gotta move. Well, last night, sat on the levee floor. Oh, last night, sat on the levee floor. Thinking about my baby and my happy home. I
Slide's beautiful, isn't it? It's got a haunting effect. Great John Paul Jones. Wow. Special thanks to our partners in making change. Yo, man. You guys weren't lying. Holy. That was excellent. What a great, great song to choose. You know, of all the Led Zeppelin songs, you know, maybe with the exception of 10 Years Gone or Since I've Been Loving You, my favorite Led Zeppelin song, this was a fantastic choice for all of that amalgamating, you know, of all of the talent around the world. And props to the talent. I mean, you know, they're in a room by themselves, you know, and they've got to kind of sync their playing to a certain beat and rhythm and all of that sort of thing. Really, really good props, man. It's kind of like, in a way, when an actor has to fight some huge monster or something like that. The monster is CGI, so they're literally just swinging at the air, you know what I mean? And they've got to make it look real. It's almost in the same way with musicians, you know, all by themselves in a room doing their own thing. There's no other cadence provided for them. Really fantastic stuff, man. Great talent around the world. I love these. I got to do more of these. Now, I don't know if it's coming from the exact same production company or if it's just a whole huge bunch of them, but all the same, man, I would love to do a lot more, especially where it is, well, I shouldn't say especially, for this channel though, especially where it's dipping the heels into the classic rock songs, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, holy, that was really good. I'm gonna go back and watch that shit 100 times. I know myself very well. All right, yo, let's do this. It's a fundraiser, and there's a button icon that'll take you to their funding page. So I think I'm gonna go there and send them a donation. That was great, man. So Playing for Change. Oh, good. There's a really good write-up here. Let me read the write-up for the link. When the Levee Breaks is a powerful, thought-provoking, and emotionally charged classic by Led Zeppelin from their Led Zeppelin 4 album. The song is a rework of the 1929 original release by Kansas Joe McCoy and Memphis Minnie about the Great Mississippi Flood of 1927, the most destructive river flooding in U.S. history. Yeah, it was, man. It seems that little has changed since 1927, or even 2005 with Katrina. it's still a really powerful track, both musically and lyrically. This is a quote from John Paul Jones, unquote. Legendary multi-instrumentalist John Paul Jones is accompanied by Stephen Perkins of Jane's Addiction, Susan Tedeschi. Oh man, look at the list. Okay, y'all, I'm going to put the list here. And from different countries in this Song Around the World version featured in Peace Through Music, a global event for the environment. Fantastic. Whose ever vision this was to put this shit together, you know it wasn't a small feat. And to get all of these great musicians from around the world, qualified great musicians from around the world, definitely no small feat, man. Feel the impact of these compelling lyrics and let the music move your spirit. When the Levee Breaks was written by Kansas Joe McCoy and Memphis Minnie, and later covered by Led Zeppelin's John Bonham, John Paul Jones, Jimmy Page, and Robert Plant. The Song Around the World was produced by Sebastian, Robertson, and Mark Johnson. Yeah, and by now you guys are seeing the list on the side. And there's a lot more here, going into their partners and all of the people that helped make things come along. It's a long list, so I'm not gonna read it all. But yeah, man, so many people had their hands in this to make this come about. So shout out to all of you, man, if you're ever watching this. You know what I really want to do, man? I want to go to the fans and see what they're saying here down in the comments. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So, awesome to see players around the world performing. It must have taken a long time to plan and organize. Well done. And very cool that John Paul Jones didn't take all of the spotlight. True. I don't see him as being that kind of a person. And I bet you he probably said something to that effect. Make sure that you spread this shit out. Make sure that I'm not the main feature. I don't have to be the main feature. You know, his legendary status is intact. And it doesn't matter what he does now. He is a legend. He's an icon. And he doesn't have to do much more where it comes to the spotlight. And it's like passing the baton, you know what I mean? It's helping other talent to get recognized based on his spotlight. So I can see him totally sharing that. And lots of comments about that, like 69 replies and a whole bunch of thumbs up. I have no words to explain my feelings. Love you, everyone. Love your music. From Sri Lanka. John Paul Jones never cared about the spotlight, but his presence is always known. Hey, well said, man. Damn, I just said the same thing, but you just said it better than I did. Probably the best rendition of When the Levee Breaks ever. Oh, I like the Led Zeppelin version, but this was really, really good. It was very heartwarming. This was impressive. All three of the female vocalists were so good, very different. I think I need to search for more of Mihirangi though. Girl can wail. Love it. Yeah, I believe it was the lady in the native, or maybe it was the Gaelic lady. I think it's the lady in the native stuff. Mihirangi and Susan Tedeschi absolutely slay this. Love the Norwegian singer too. Yeah, I was right. This is next level musicianship, completely extraordinary. Whoever arranged, edited, and mixed this is a collective genius. And you know that, like I said, a whole bunch of people were involved here, man. And I love the fact that these great established musicians from around the world lent their time and their image and all of that stuff to actually make this viable, to make it attractive and appealing, you know what I mean? Because whenever, let's face it, I remember once listening to the news, and it was about this radio station. This radio station was only broadcasting good news, positivity, inspiring things. And it didn't last long, right? Because we are just so, I don't know, wired and transfixed where it comes to news to take in the news and to take in what's going around the world, but usually it's a lot of bad shit happening around the world, right? And so, yeah, man, this good vibe, good feel radio station didn't last long because it was just positivity and good news. Isn't it crazy the way our brain operates? Susan has a powerful voice, and Derek has got to be one of the greatest slide guitarists in the world. They're an incredible combination. Yeah, they are, man. Wow, I was not expecting this to be so good. Amazing performances, memorable arrangements, just beautiful. This is as good as it gets, and it needs now more than ever. Okay, we're all the same, peace through music indeed. This was already sounding really, really good, but when the New Zealand singer At the Waterfall came in, bold as hell on the high part, it startled and completely enthralled me. Later in the song, Susan Tedeschi's voice was another unexpected but fantastic revelation. What a performance. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. World coming together through the brilliance of Led Zeppelin. Priceless. You've heard me said before, music is chicken soup to the soul. It builds bridges. And I'm telling you, when you have talent on loan from God that Led Zeppelin's got, and at this point in time, and they're sharing it, I really dig that shit. It's like, I'm not gonna drop names, but I know that some artists really have an iron grip on their product and what they do. And now Led Zeppelin was very guarded with their precious stones, and that's understandable, but they still shared things. You remember that crazy story about Jack Black making this YouTube video, and he said that for his movie School of Rock, he really, really wanted to use Immigrant Song, the song, and he pleaded to all three members, please, 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 and they allowed him to use it. Whereas, you know, you got to be guarded, you got to be careful. And so, as well, not just for use by anyone, but also by members of the band, there are some acts, some bands that will not allow their individual members to use the collective songs of the band outside of the confines of the band themselves. You know what I mean? And you might say, well, yes, that's a good thing. But where it comes to an artist, for example, John Paul Jones, during John Paul Jones month in January, it's great that he was allowed to use the Led Zeppelin product and that they trusted him enough to represent the Led Zeppelin product by individual songs that he used. Not every single band, not every single group will allow that. So props to whoever the rights holder is, if it's Jimmy Page, if it's the labels or wherever it is. I'm not sure who is the actual rights holder, but props to them for allowing it and having trust to do that. Not just in John Paul Jones, but other artists covering Led Zeppelin content. And still, on this platform, Led Zeppelin content is the most difficult content where it comes to doing reactions for. In fact, on YouTube, it's just over 50% of their content is on YouTube. The rest you've got to go to my other platforms, right? So just so you know, a lot of people still don't know, I have reacted to every single Led Zeppelin whatever, right? And I'm not just talking individual songs. I'm not just talking their concert. I'm talking their bootlegs that went all the way back to the very, very first. Like, I think it started in 69. How the West Was Won, was it? Or the Fillmore West. So you know what I'm saying? I have covered the most Led Zeppelin stuff, more than any other reactor combined. You know what I'm saying? So where it comes to their content, it's very, very well guarded. And it's a plug for my other platforms. If you want to see a reaction to a certain Led Zeppelin song, I've done it, but you got to go looking for it if you don't see it on YouTube. Stellar collaborations, man. The more times the music travels around the world, the more it gets amplified. Absolutely, and it's more heartwarming. You know, of course, I'll always love the Led Zeppelin rendition, but this was really, really nice. And knowing what it's for and seeing all of these great artists around the world coming together, collaborative, it's a beautiful thing, man. And the diversity, man, it's incredible to make it still sound good and still interesting. And it doesn't matter what genre specific you like. If you're a classic rock fan, if you're one of these old cats that are just regimented in your ways, you got to give it up for this sort of collaboration, you know. And anybody who does not like this, because I know that there's some crazy creatures out there, you're misguided and you have not been brought up right. Okay, so good God, Derek Trucks at 219. I think my soul just left my body. Transcendental playing. Love all the players in this video. Just wonderful. Should I read this? I suffer from child illness related PTSD, and when things become overwhelming, levee breaking, I listen to this song and shed a tear. I feel better after listening though. Okay, wow. There's some serious replies there. I won't get into reading all of those. Last one. It's a long one too. Outstanding version. Been a Led Zeppelin fan for a long time, and this version has a special vibe of its own merit, collecting great talented musicians from all around the world, loving the harmonica, the slide guitar, the different drums, the many vocals, all through the song, giving special feelings for each part of it. And of course, last but definitely not least, the blessing of John Paul Jones on bass. Very, very well said. The blessing. The reason why there are so many Led Zeppelin fans around the world is because it is a blessing. Let's not forget that. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what your belief structure is. Let me drop it to you like this in your face. Led Zeppelin is the result of a blessing, right? A blessing from God of each 4 individual members and their respective talents. By themselves, they are incredible and astounding. Together, it's a force that just cannot be denied. That's why 50 plus years later, we are still fanatical fans about Led Zeppelin because it's a blessing. The coming together of Led Zeppelin was the second blessing. Remember when I was talking about this? The curse of Led Zeppelin, and they were talking about maybe Jimmy Page might have traded his soul to the devil for great outstanding talent and to be famous and to be set the world on fire. Whatever that nonsense is about, this is what I know. Jimmy Page and the rest of Led Zeppelin, they were blessed individually for their talent. Their coming together was the second great blessing where Led Zeppelin is concerned. So much so that they just could not be denied, right? And if you're a musician, especially if you're an old cat and you were a musician back in the day, and you were saying to yourself, yeah, you know, we've got all of the great contemporaries, the Beatles, the Who, the Stones, all of these great bands. And then Led Zeppelin comes onto the scene. I know that you probably had a, oh, holy shit, what is this moment? I know you did, right? And musicians, contemporary musicians, even the highest, most established ones, had to have had that moment too. And you know where I'm going with this, and you know the one specific person that I'm talking about, that person who was so butthurt to the point where he just could not accept the fact that there's a band out there just as good, if not better, at certain levels than his was, right? So these guys collectively are a force, and look at the wake of influence years and years later. I'm telling you, somebody is there's going to be a light go on if it hasn't already gone on, and they're going to say, hey, let's cover the entire Led Zeppelin catalog, right? When you're talking about influence, when you're talking about going out into the world, when you're talking about building bridges, when you're talking about raising funds for humanitarian causes and this and this and this and this, let's cover, if we're allowed to, the entire Led Zeppelin catalog. Think about this shit for a minute. When I had that moment in my head, a couple of months into my channel, and I discovered that Led Zeppelin wasn't just some great band that had one great hit in Stairway to Heaven, and that they covered blues, and that they covered all of the really great ballads and all of this sort of thing, my mind was blown, and I said, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm missing out on a lot of things. I've got to go back from the very, very beginning, and I've got to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. Because of all the great bands out there, Led Zeppelin was the band that I knew the least amount about. And I don't know if you've been on my channel much, but I call it the Led Zeppelin treatment, where I basically take a band, namely Led Zeppelin, and I start from the very beginning of their catalog, and I go all the way through. I've done that, right? It's taken me, believe this shit or not, it's taken me 3 years to do that, man. Every single song, every single album, every single concert, every single soundtrack, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm still not through each individual member's contributions and what they've done. Like I said, Evelyn's got some Robert Plant concert footage for me that I'm really interested in getting into. So it's something that's probably going to be with me throughout the entire lifespan of my channel. Yes, that's right. I'm not going to do this shit forever. But it's really, really cool to think that somebody will one day say, let's do as much as Led Zeppelin will allow us to do. If they'll allow us to do their entire catalog in this format with musicians around the world covering it, think of how many Led Zeppelin fans there are out there among musicians like these. And if you're going to say, hey, do you want to be a part of covering the whole Led Zeppelin catalog, music around the world for humanitarian causes? Damn, man. My ass would be in. I'm telling you guys, somebody is going to come up with that if they haven't already, and they're going to approach Led Zeppelin and they're going to say, we want to do this, and then they're going to say, yeah, sure, you know, do these, and these songs, or yeah, do the whole catalog if you want. Watch, I bet you. It's just, with this being so damn good, and obviously so successful, and with so many links sent to me over the past couple of weeks, you know, that's just a really good example of what can be. Somebody's going to think of it, y'all. Just watch. Okay, so that's enough reading of the fan base, and lots and lots of props, lots of praises, and lots of replies to each other's comments. So obviously a lot to say, you know, and of course, one of the best Led Zeppelin songs ever. You know that When the Levee Breaks is in your top 5. Whoever you are, if you're a Led Zeppelin fan and you know their catalog, I know for a fact that When the Levee Breaks is in your top 5, or maybe your top 10, but still ranking very, very high where it comes to Led Zeppelin. Am I right? Let me know where When the Levee Breaks ranks for you on your list of favorite Led Zeppelin songs. You know, and I know it's in your top, mostly probably for everybody in your top 5, maybe in your top 10. It would be something like number 6, something like that. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna bounce. So thank you to everyone, and I mean pretty much everyone who sent me this link. I'm gonna have to sit and count exactly how many and compare. And the other link that was sent to me the most was my very first Led Zeppelin reaction on this channel since I've been loving you. It got to the point where I had to do something. It was breaking me out of my focus of anti-war at the time. And I said, oh my gosh, man, I have to stop and do this because so many people want to see a reaction to this song. So it's got to be quite something. And it was. If you guys have never seen Wayne get smacked upside the head, and you have never heard, you know, Since I've Been Loving You by Led Zeppelin, check out my very first Led Zeppelin reaction. I couldn't contain myself. It was crazy. And it was discovering the real Led Zeppelin. When I say the real Led Zeppelin, I'm saying the force and the intensity of the band, the thunder, the appeal, the bluesiness, all of that stuff all together in one song. And yeah, I couldn't contain it. It was incredible. And I didn't have a lot of warning too. So you guys got to check out that reaction. So that would probably be number 2 of the most requested where it comes to anything on the channel, and especially along with Led Zeppelin stuff, the most requested stuff. But this, When the Levee Breaks, I think that this will probably be, I have to count, but I think that this will probably be the most requested reaction. So, and rightly so, it's really, really that cool, man. Great stuff to see. Anyways, y'all, have a good one. Take care. Next time you see me, I know I've got a couple of other things before that, but like I mentioned, Evelyn again, she's got some Robert Plant concert footage that I really want to check out. So I'll be hitting that up before the week is out. Where are we? It's a Monday. So before the week is out, I'll be hitting that up. All right. So have a good one. Take care, and I'll see you later. Peace.